Hello. For my at home service project, I decided to spend intentional time with my grandmother, who is 87 years old, and is my only living grandparent. She lives within walking distance from me, so this assignment made me realize how easy it is to be physically close to someone and still not be fully present. One morning, I decided to drop by with some sweet bread from her favorite bakery and have breakfast and coffee with her. Um, After dropping off my son at school, the same elementary school I remember going to as a little girl as well. Um, So, even though I'm not fluent in Spanish and her English is not her first language, um, we've never had a language barrier. Somehow, whenever I go visit her and have that one on one time, we're able to have beautiful conversations and deep conversations um, based off of um, I guess knowing each other, and it's never been a huge barrier for us to have a beautiful relationship and um, a opportunity to learn her childhood and where I come from and what it was like for her growing up and those interesting stories and how different it is today. So we were able to have conversations about my son. We talked about school, her, how she's doing, how she's feeling, what she's been up to as well. And then that always goes into the different family gossip, which is not too much, but you indulge a little bit with over coffee and sweet bread with your grandmother. So also gardening, she's really big about gardening. And I've been interested in that as well and have realized that there's so much more that goes into it in having a nice, successful, um, not too much stress garden. And so it was a perfect time and opportunity to ask her, what her process is because um, she does light gardening, and I was able to help her that day with watering her plants and asking, advice and getting different tips on that. Um, Being one of the big conversation topics that we were able to expand on. Um, this was definitely out of my routine. I realized with this assignment how hyper focused I tend to get with work, family, and my personal life without taking the time to slow down and connect with my village and the people who are still around me and who love me and who can help reset and ground me in ways that I don't even realize I need a lot of the times. Um, so this assignment reminded me to stop and look at what I have and how grateful I should be in what I am able to still have the opportunity to do. Um, so she definitely had more energy with her getting older and not being able to move around as much. It, it does affect her emotionally. I can imagine not being able to be independent and do the things that you are usually used to being able to do without assistance. So I get and I understand that vulnerability. Um, of course, it's always nice to see on the family group chat um, how happy she was. And, my aunts are routinely taking care of her, making sure she's okay. And so, whenever one of us grandchildren or great grandchildren visit her, they like to, take pictures and, say how it brings up her spirit. So, definitely saw that, and um, it felt a little guilty in how my aunts were, and my mom were thanking me for taking the time to go sit with her and, help her out, and how much of a difference it made in her day, and how she was talking about it, about that day, and my visit for anybody who would listen. And I didn't realize the amount of joy that a little bit of intentional time um, would bring. And every time I take the time out and sit with her and just allow the conversation to flow into whatever it does, the amount of encouragement and knowledge that I gained from where I came from and how my grandmother grew up, and just a different perspective on everything, and leaving with a sense of gratitude, with realizing that I just finished doing something I know a lot of people wish they still had the opportunity to. And it opened my eyes to um, how I have taken that for granted, and the need to spend intentional time with other people in my family and people that are around me as well. I can imagine what I could learn, and the bond and the impact it could make in their day as well, being that everybody would appreciate someone taking time out of their day and intentionally being present. I think is priceless. It's something that you can't just buy. So it's more precious, and it means more than material things. And so I really enjoyed doing this. It was very eye opening, and it was really neat. It was nice. It made me feel good. It made me feel grateful. And it really changed my perspective on the people around me, and how I spend intentional time, and how important it is to set aside intentional time and to be of service to those around you and those that you love. Um, how that matters. So that was my day with my grandmother, and how who I chose to dedicate my time to, and all the beautiful things that we were able to do together. And I really enjoyed this project. I hope you enjoyed listening to my experience and what I learned from it, and what I was able to provide as well. And I am grateful for you listening to this video, and I hope it also helped you as well, and a different perspective on um, what we have around us, and appreciating the little things. Thank you.